Somebody make a motion to approve the minutes?
I so move.
I second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Right.
Opposed? Okay, it's all in favor and no opposed. Public participation, we don't have any now, and it's not somehow, oh, it got on there. It was supposed to be before the approval of the minutes. And we have public participation because anybody that shows up, I ask them to participate. So.
Recording in progress.
Okay, that's a weird thing.
Oh, yeah.
I think Karen's testing to see if you can.
I was hoping I would be able to see what was going on, see how many people were logged in from the web. But I just made a lot of noise, sorry.
I think
did.
as long as you turn your speaker off, then you won't get the
I
feedback.
turned the speaker off, but it's still,
It did it to this thing. And if you look here, you can see who's on it.
that's,
Okay. All right, so we have now old business, and we have to report on what I call action items from previous meetings. And we have Jeff McMahon to talk about Act 250. And if I remember correctly, well, he's not here. Jeff is not here. But if I remember correctly, he said that we would have to do an Act 250 process.
Renewal,
A renewal, yes.
right?
That
I
sounds
don't
vaguely
have it
familiar.
on me.
Yeah, nor do I.
We have to do an Act 250 renewal. Now, who knows how to do that, and can we task them with getting that going?
Jeff,
Jeff should know.
I feel like that's a town
And
thing.
he's not here, so he can't refuse to do it.
That's the manager's job. If he doesn't know how to do it, he will find somebody to do it. And seeing that he's not there tonight, then the committee automatically apply or assigns that duty to him.
Yes,
What I said.
that's the way we like it, yes. So, Jeff, we have to ask Jeff, can I take it on myself to rattle his cage about this?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I moved that motion.
Ask Jeff to start 250 renewal process, right?
I believe that was what Jeff had requested, yeah. Jeff McMahon.
Yeah. Okay, so then the next thing that we need to talk about is Jeff, who is not here, and when we can meet with VSHA senior residents.
Was he invited to this meeting, other than it being, like, was he specifically invited because he's on the agenda?
I didn't invite him.
Okay.
I sent notices out to everybody asking when we could do it, and then you got okay. So
curious.
what I do know is that Tom told me, so Jeff may have been assigned this job, but Tom got it. So Tom has been furiously trying to talk to the woman at VSHA. And he says she doesn't respond, except for one brief shining moment when she was responding to him, and then all of a sudden she stopped again. So, while I was waiting for the rest of you to arrive, I said, do you want me, I have more discretionary time than you do. Do you want me to go to her office? Because it appears to me that she responds to the things that are in front of her. So you're all going, So I think I should go.
It's a short trip.
Yeah, it's just down the road from our house. So Mary, go to,
So will you go to the manager over here, or do you go to the state person?
I go to the state person and ask them how to do it. And then they say, okay, I don't, whatever they say, that's what I'll do. Because we've gone to the lady here, And she has said, oh, I have to find out from them, they're doing this,
Yeah.
so,
Does Tom give you a name to
no,
contact
but
at
I'm
least?
gonna ask him
Yeah,
who she
right.
is,
You
and
gotta know a name.
He-
I
right?
feel like I
Context
have
group.
that name on my notes sitting on my office desk also, so I'll make a note that if I can let you know who I spoke to early on, I'll forward that to you, Mary.
okay, that would be really great, that would be really great. Then I'm supposed to talk to you about communication with Timber and Stone. I talked to them, and they said what they need is they need this grant, they need an RFP, a bid. They need a call for a bid.
They need an official,
Yeah,
thing from the town.
Yeah.
Is specifically.
Yeah.
Right,
and that too comes from Jeff.
yes.
So ask Jeff.
Before they can give you guys a
But
quote for what it
Before
would
we
cost.
get ahead of this, Mary,
Yes,
it doesn't look to me like we're gonna need an RFP for timber and stone until after the dam removal project has been complete. We don't, because after we get all the paperwork associated with and the easements from Dollar General, then we're going to take Pat's design and say, if you guys are conceptually agreed to this, we'd like to do something. Then the excavation and the dam is going to be removed. And based on that removal, we're going to ask them to leave it in such a way that it will basically be ready to be complete. And I'm sure they'll be willing to do it. So we have to get Dollar General's endorsement, not only for the Act 250, because they had to have an Act 250 for their place, so that's going to be the Act 250 there. Then we need to have their endorsement for a conceptual design, which means that some of what Pat created, and remember, it may not be the final design that what Pat created for Night on the Common, but it's a conceptual, and we get corporate, because I don't think the manager locally can do it,
mm-hmm,
corporate to say, oh, that's a great idea. We'd love to have a bigger, work with you on having a park. So then we have, Jeff is going to have to get them to endorse, first off, that we're going to put heavy equipment in their backyard. And then he's going to have to get, and all the river permits and everything associated with that, in there is going to be access for heavy equipment. And with that access comes egress. And when they leave, we expect to have them leave it in such a condition that, in my mind, if I was operating this thing, it would be we would be able to put down wheelchair friendly, accessible, whether it's the mat or whether it's some type of material that our test subject Mary can drive down there and say, yep, this is the stuff that we want to use. So and then the plantings and the flowers and all that stuff come with, it won't be timber and stone that does that. And I don't know if timber and stone is going to do the handicap accessible or not, but we don't have that. We can't go out for RFP yet because we don't have Act 250 yet.
yeah, I think that's a good point. The issue is, my understanding is that the dam removal people said they would, that Katrina, is that her name? Karina, that's her name, Charlie?
Yeah.
Yeah, Karina said yes, that she wanted to work with us on that she would make that happen. So my understanding is we've already got that far. It sounds to me like when you tell me this, which I think is really helpful, we need to have some kind of powwow with the Dollar General people now.
Yeah, and that will be, I would presume that will be outside of the Northfield management. Maybe they've advanced enough.
They're already, yeah, I went to the meeting with the dam removal and the bridge reconstruction people
Great.
a couple weeks ago, and they said, I can't remember if it was either Jeff or it was, the engineering firm, SLR, that was gonna contact Dollar General and ask them about getting permission to stage for the removal of the dam in their back parking lot. And then there was another email that came after that with the contact person at Dollar General Corporate. So whoever, I can't remember who was gonna do it, whether it was Jeff or SLR, but someone is contacting them to get permission to use their property for the dam removal. So depending on how that goes, we can follow that same track to try to get an easement or something for the path, because there's not enough town land along the river for us to use town land for the path. It'll need to go on their property, which is sort of a different, outside of Act 250, it's sort of a different animal than just getting permission for, 2 weeks to have an excavator back there. It's gonna be like a permanent thing. So we wanna make sure that they're okay with that, or else I don't know how you put the path there at all, basically. Unless the parcel maps are wrong, which I guess is possible, but.
Probably not, but that's exactly right. So, to do an RFP with those questions outstanding, you can't do an RFP.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
Right, and that's the first question they'll ask is like, when they're removing the dam, are they staging on Dollar General's land? And if that's okay, can we assume we'll do the same thing? And if Dollar General is like, you can't build anything on our property that's permanent, then, we sort of go back to the drawing board, because there's not enough space along that side of the river to put anything in without Dollar General agreeing that it's on their land.
That's too bad.
Yeah,
I was not
so,
aware of that.
Well,
We've been aware, that was part of Timber and Stone's design.
yeah, I mean, where they put that path in that booklet was definitely on Dollar General land, so,
but the maps are different. I've seen two different versions of the map.
yeah.
And one has the property line much closer to the building.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, this is based on the Vermont GIS, and then that was confirmed by what the engineering firm has, but it doesn't mean it's right. Vermont property lines.
It might be right.
I'm guessing.
I'm just saying I've seen it two ways.
Yeah, so maybe the person from corporate can clarify that when whomever gets,
And I wonder what would be worth it, what it would require to get their permission to have a right of way.
yeah, I think that's what we need, because I was part of that bus stop transportation kiosk fiasco, and that got put on the property at the old train station, and then it got sold, and then they kicked it off of there because
Yes.
there was no easement or lien or anything. So, it's good to rely on the generosity of others, but if something changes hands, it's good to have it legally binding. Otherwise,
If they're generous enough, they would.
yeah,
Generous-
right.
Generous and signed.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna come back and say, sure, build something, but we're not gonna give you permission. They're either gonna say, we'll put a lien in or an easement in, or they're gonna say you can't do anything, cause it would be weird to do the in-between. And I would suggest we don't do it if they do the in-between, because it's
Yeah.
not gonna be a lot of
Asking
money,
for
but it's
trouble.
gonna be thousands of dollars,
Not
which
much
at any
point.
point, they could decide to just rip out.
We'd need to figure out what would the advantage be to them to have this there.
More foot traffic.
Yeah, I mean, definitely foot traffic.
Foot traffic, maybe greater police monitoring.
Well, it's just being a good corporate neighbor as well. Hey, we're making the town looking better. We're gonna make your property look better. We're gonna create your foot traffic for your property. You're gonna be a good corporate neighbor. This is a community, you gotta participate. If not, it's all right. We just won't shop there anymore.
We'll tell everybody.
Yeah, it's true. We can organize a boycott.
Popsicle sales are up 300% since the Riverwalk went in.
And Slurpees.
Yeah.
And then once they get in for those things, they see also the pool noodles and the other
Yeah,
things.
exactly.
Yeah. It strikes me that our discussion with Dollar General is parallel to the discussion we're gonna have with the seniors. Is this gonna, enhance your
Yes.
blah, 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 and it's part of the town and give you a chance to look at the river, and it's like a lot the same. A lot of,
Universally desirable.
yep, a lot of, so now that gets us down, surprise, that gets us down to C. and confirm the required bidding process. Actually, we're not ready. We have to go first to Dollar General to see if we can get them to do, well,
Yeah,
you said it's either SLR or Jeff?
who's, well, they're, that contact, so they're reaching out to the person we'll need to eventually get permission from for an easement, but they're reaching out to them specifically just about staging equipment
Yes.
in the parking lot for the dam removal.
And SLR stands for what?
I have no idea.
Oh,
I don't know, sorry. All they had were the letters on their hats. It's a multinational engineering firm, but they have an office in Waterbury, and they are the contractors who've been hired to do the design for the dam removal. They've been hired by Karina's Vermont. I'm terrible with acronyms.
Me too.
We'll look it up and see.
They're just,
Single lens reflex is all that my brain
Yeah,
pulls out.
I know the.
Very obsolete.
engineers designing the bridge removal.
Right.
All it says is SLR International Corporation, environmental consultant in Waterbury, Vermont.
Yeah. So
SLR Consulting.
Okay.
they're an environmental engineering, civil engineering firm, and they have an office here, but it's a really big company.
So God, I hope they aren't gonna charge more to.
We don't pay them anything. They were very reasonable. Like at the meeting,
Oh, they
they
were.
asked, they were like, what do you want us to do for the recreation? What are your plans? Like
Oh,
without
really?
me, like even, yeah. So like the person, both of them seemed very reasonable. And like they are not the contractor, so they're designing how the dam will be removed. They're
Yeah.
giving they're putting together like a package for whomever gets hired to remove the dam to actually remove it.
Right.
But since they're in charge of that, they seemed like the kind of people that would be like, where do you want us to flatten things out so your path is easier? Anecdotally, they seemed reasonable.
Now, tell me again, what was the name of this meeting you were at where you saw these people?
It was a meeting with V-Trans, Jeff, whomever the utilities guy in town is, Gary LaRoche. Is that him? No, Gary LaRoche was the V-Trans guy.
Jim Russo was there from the
Jim
town.
Russo, yeah.
And Jeff
Were
was
you
there.
there, Charlie?
Charlie wasn't there.
They were having the meeting on a Tuesday and I had farmer's market.
Charlie was like, yeah, haying or something. Jeff was there, so he knows about it. But I only got looped into it because when Charlie asked me about the dam thing, I Googled dam removal and I found the Vermont agency in charge of it, and I called that lady and she told me about this meeting, and I was like, can I go? And she said, yeah, so I went. So
I think this is such wonderful, wonderful luck.
Right, yeah, yeah.
yep.
really.
So anyways, they told me April 2025 is tentatively where they're gonna start. Well, there's a water line in April 2025. The dam is supposed to go in April 25, and they're gonna advertise the bridge in summer 2025. But it seems like, I mean, this is all changing obviously, but gonna happen later as a result of ordering steel and a bunch of stuff like that. But everybody there was like communicating well and seems like they've worked together and was reasonable. So I think it's a good crew of people. And I'm in the email chain now, so when they send me stuff, I can bring it to you guys.
So,
That's
Great.
great, that's great.
Thank you.
When I spoke with Karina last spring, she said that our select board had thought that maybe there was a provision for a recreational element to this project. And she said her group had no plans to make a recreational element.
Yeah,
It's FEMA money, and they didn't have any money for it. They didn't object to it. They'd support it, but they just couldn't do anything about it.
right. So my understanding of this is that the dam removal is going to potentially go upstream maybe 1,000 feet, removing sediment, but that depends on what this new engineering firm determines. There was a 30% design done by who's the ones who did the common, Dubois and King?
Dubois and King.
Yeah, so they scrapped that and started over with a new firm. I don't know the drama there. But the new firm is now going in and looking at everything and putting together recommendations for what they recommend. So likely it will be remove the dam, clean things up a little bit downstream, remove some of the sediment upstream, but because there are water lines and things going through the stream, they might not be able to remove as much sediment upstream as they originally thought. But they will mostly be like going in and doing stuff downstream of the dam. They won't be in any way affecting whatever would be happening with the path other than that section D, because that's where they're gonna be removing the dam and with their equipment. It also seemed like none of them are planning on including any like finished path in their project. It would be like, they seem willing to like rough grade things, so it would be easier for us to build that, if that makes sense. So
I
if
think
Karina's talking about like, oh, we're not gonna be planting trees and stuff, that jives with what I heard from that meeting. But everyone at the meeting seemed like they were gonna say like, we've got the excavator here, it's not that big of a deal to like regrade this, we'll do that for you. So we just have to be ready to tell them what we want next summer when they do this, that's all.
Okay.
Which would be helpful if we had a design.
Yeah, right, so. It's also iterative.
Pat
'cause it
gave us a
depends-
design. It's conceptual, it's not actual. And it's good enough to go to Dollar General and say, when this dam removal project is done, we'd like to have something like this. What is your input? What would you like to see as a property owner? And would you sign on to it? From there, all we've got to do is we're beating this horse, but as Patrick said, and I have said, when the excavators leave, we leave it in such a position that we don't have to spend $50,000. We only have to spend whatever it costs for tree planting and material that is accessible.
Right.
There might be a little bit of small work in there.
It'll pretty much build itself, right, Charlie?
You'd be surprised if people get, if the contractor gets a good relationship with the town of Northfield, you'll be
Yeah.
surprised what they'll do for you. They might even find picnic tables for you. You never
Oh,
know.
yeah,
As long as
exactly.
they can put their name on it, they'll be happy.
It's a really good starting point.
Going
They
down
also-
that path, there's not much more you can do with section D, because we've got to get the property owner's permission.
Right,
And
Yes.
Patrick, has Jeff sent that poster that you made, Pat? Do we know if he's getting that put on a post yet?
like installed somewhere? I don't know.
We don't
what
know,
happened
because
to it.
nobody from the town is there. We don't know if they've put that on a piece of plywood and they're gonna mount it. So we don't know. And
Did he
what we don't
take it
know,
after the common? I don't know what happened to it after the night on the common.
it's in the office next door to where you're sitting.
Oh, okay,
And the door's closed. I just went to check. I thought if Jeff is squirreled away in there, we really need him here. And he's not.
I sent it to Karina too, so because they asked for what I had come up with, so that group of people dealing with the dam removal knows sort of what we're looking for.
Oh, excellent. Thank you.
Yeah.
This was a critical meeting that you were at.
Yeah,
Yeah, really.
thank you so
We're
much.
so grateful to you for going.
Yeah, I missed the second hour of it because I had to go pick Ruby up, but
Well, we
there for
should,
the first.
you will keep us in the loop
Yeah,
so that
yeah,
we
yeah.
know?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very happy about that.
All good.
Okay, I think Charlie,
Yes.
haven't we got about as far as we can go on this subject right now? We
Well,
have to,
Pat's given us a timeline that's so fluid, it's unbelievable.
Mhm.
We can't formalize the approach to Vermont State Housing because Jeff isn't there. We can't confirm required bidding process because we don't have the parameters. And decide exact course of phasing A, B, and C and D. We haven't even talked to the property owners about A, B, and C on this course.
Right.
I've dropped hints, but in order to talk to A and B, you got to complete the talking to the Vermont State Housing Authority.
Yeah.
So, and we don't have that yet because Jeff hasn't arranged that. Or Mary, I understand that you're going to go talk to them about how to approach that. And when
No,
we do, I
I'm gonna
expect,
go, yeah, them being VSHA, I'll just go and
okay.
stand there and talk to them.
And then, of course, new business is developing community relations. We don't have anything to develop because we don't know where Act 250. We don't know what the property owner is going to say. We haven't, but my thought is this dam removal project is going to be next year if there is no material that's needed other than excavators. And I don't think there's going to be any steel. It's going to be removing stuff.
Yeah, right. The dam can move forward. The bridge is
right.
what everybody is saying is gonna happen next year, but like between you guys, it's not gonna happen because it takes like 16 months to get steel and it's not going out to bid until next summer or something. So like, I don't know why they're still saying it's gonna get done next year, but maybe I'll.
They're not telling us
they
that.
already said.
The select board is not being told that the bridge is going on next year. That has
Okay.
been canceled.
Okay.
Yes,
So
I
it's
think that's
26 that happens.
that's what
Okay.
So
I've heard.
based on the dam removal project, which is, as a side note, it's very good that we don't have these two major projects going on at the same time because Northfield doesn't have the skills to accomplish that right now. So with the dam removal project, we have an outside contractor. He's going to come in and do it and leave it in such a way that once everybody in Northfield sees it, that's when you start publicizing and marketing your ability to build a path. And that's when you bring timber and stone in, saying the following property owners have endorsed the idea and have agreed to putting a path on their property, and you build a path. And you got whatever $50,000 is left over from what's been appropriated for phase D. And then A, B, C is going to be impossible because it's railroad, but you never know. So A and B will be discussed after we have a successful D.
Yeah, the only concern I have about the contractor leaving the area graded is that, and this may have been looked at, is what the required slope is going to be.
I looked at that when I designed it and made it like
Great.
ADA. That's why it's so long and it sweeps back.
Okay.
There's a
good.
natural bench where that little pavilion thing is that's actually there now.
Yeah,
So
okay.
I don't know what the question is, what are they gonna change when they go in to get the dam out?
Right, well,
So,
we should, be
but
giving them
I
some
tried to
guidelines.
make it, like less than
1
1
in
in
12
12.
is,
Yeah,
right, that's
so,
yeah.
like at least,
Yeah.
from the best topography I could find on the GIS, but yeah, so it's
Great.
something like that. So it makes it a long
That's-
path, but
That's
yeah.
better long and
Yeah, yeah.
have some occasional flat spots to rest and things like that.
yeah, that was the
Great,
idea.
good, I just wanted to double check that had been, looked at. with
Right, so
numbers.
it'll change a little bit where it is probably, but it'll be something like that,
Right.
like you need a couple of switchbacks, and then they'll get an idea that it's a long path on their property, not a short one, and then we don't
Right.
surprise them or something,
Yeah, good, thanks for doing that.
Yep.
That's important.
So we're not ready yet to develop community engagement. And are we?
I think we could, when we reach an agreement with Dollar General, that would be a great thing to publicize.
Yeah,
But, there's ways of keeping people aware that things are happening. But
how would you do that? How would you keep people aware that things are
an
happening?
article in the Northfield News, for example, and, put information on Front Porch Forum.
Don't you do articles for the,
I've been doing them for the accessibility and walkability group. Absolutely.
do you wanna combine?
I will think about it. I
It was
try not
just last month that it was at a public event
Yeah.
that got public thanks. This subcommittee will be listed as a member of the participating groups for a night on the common, so
yeah, that's good.
it's okay if it doesn't come right after that,
Okay.
I think,
Yeah.
in terms
Okay.
of
Yeah.
pacing out community.
Well, that's why I was thinking of the agreement with Dollar General as being a milestone
yeah,
that
I
we could
agree.
acknowledge to people. And Dollar General should like being seen in a positive light, all the things that you said, Charlie, about being a good corporate citizen and neighbor.
I mean, the first question people are gonna ask is, isn't that Dollar General's land?
Right.
And then we're gonna say
Yeah.
yes, and then they're gonna say, oh, so they're okay with this, and we're gonna say, well, I don't know. And they're like,
Yeah, right.
it's
yeah.
good to have some answers
Yeah,
for
that's-
like, yeah, so
there
I
you go.
agree with
Good
you
way of
that.
putting it.
Otherwise, yeah, we're sort of pulling the rug out from under people. If they say no, then it's like, well,
Yeah,
what are we doing here?
right.
So when it happens, then we're going to publicize that and then we'll move on. Like I said, we're not ready to have public engagement yet, but we know what we need to do to get it, to get ready.
Right.
Then the other thing, the last three things are future funding sources, integrating with the new pedestrian walkway waterfront park development. We need to talk about that. I don't know where it's going. I don't have an idea. But I think we need to talk about that, and we need to talk about reaching out, well, we are talking about reaching out to abutting landowners and obtaining rights of way. So,
What are wonders?
I think it's supposed to be owners.
Oh, okay.
yes, it's OW instead of WO.
Yeah, but there's a D floating around in it too that,
Oh, jeez. Yes,
okay, great.
okay. I hope the minutes will reflect that this was not the landowners and wonders, but, yeah.
That's why I
we
did the
think it's
vote to
going to be
approve the
wonderful,
minutes,
but-
cause you guys can't be trusted. I'm gonna have to read through all this in my own time.
Well, the other thing is,
I like it.
would this, would there be landowners and owners? It would be, why,
Just
and
landowners,
anything, just landowners.
yeah.
Yeah,
It would also be a butters.
abutting
Okay.
landowners is what the agenda calls them.
That's already there, Charlie.
I will say something to correct the record previously, just in that section C, we did talk about how difficult and challenging and expensive section C will be. It's not impossible, but also that the reason it's expensive and challenging and should be last on our list for way down the road is not because of the railroad. The railroad crossing is either part of section B or not part of this at all, if we backtrack up to the new railroad crossing. Section C has many landowners and obstacles. That's why section C will be particularly difficult. I just wanted to
Actually, not
correct,
many landowners.
just particularly difficult, and that's down the road anyway, so.
It is.
So we are putting that off for much farther in the future, but I just wanted to
Yeah.
make it clear that the railroad is not part of that problem.
Has anyone,
There are other
has anyone talked to them directly about that, or is it just something that everybody is like,
The railroad,
no,
No, the landowner.
yeah,
There's two things. I've talked with him briefly,
okay,
but not to get permission, but just talking about the proposed path.
yeah,
And Ray told me that
Ray Fernandez.
Ray Fernandez told me that they do not own the back part of that, where this path would actually be. He told me, and he may have been mistaken, that their land only goes about 30 feet back of their building.
like partway into the parking area.
Yeah, that's what it would be, wouldn't it? Yeah.
So then,
Beyond that, it's town land. But
You
I'm
will,
not sure whether he was correct.
you will find that the village plat maps, unlike the town, the village plat maps are really close to being right on, spot on. Because the village took the time to map out the village. And those exist, so it'll show you pretty accurately where things are.
It
Just
would be
so you
useful
know.
to know. It would be
If you
useful
need
to
to-
know that.
If part of the project is you have to have a surveyor come in, give Rudy Johnson a call up front and tell him to put some time, bank some time for us for, after the dam project.
The terrain back there is part of the
that's
problem.
part of what makes it really
Right.
difficult,
Very,
yeah.
very rugged. It could be exceptionally beautiful if it's done in that expensive way with,
Yeah, a bridge.
like, it's not just boardwalk, it would be like a raised boardwalk.
Right,
Some bridge work, but then it goes up again to the level of where China Star and,
right.
that,
Yes.
And that land is partially the town and partially Fernandes owned.
Okay.
And just because you're looking at it here, and I'm gonna get this wrong, aren't I? This is Depot Square, because there's a sidewalk from right here all the way across the town common.
Yes.
And then down the road to section D. Section C is on the back burner,
Right.
the
Right.
wicked back burner.
Because it would, we could bring it forward and across, and come across the common.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, like, I understand you wanna keep it on the river, but you have to jog on the railroad so much already. You're
Yeah.
going really far away. Like,
So
you-
Well, this
it-
is clearly
it's a
gonna be the
dream,
last
Pat.
section, so, that could be
Yeah.
changed
So
later.
the idea is establish a path, show its value, show that it can be done. These are feasible. This is, because of the terrain, a lot harder to do. Railroad makes it difficult, so, that's just the last piece.
Oh, okay,
We're
so
not even
that's- so it's
talking
not-
about
okay.
section C
Yes.
yet.
We need to scramble the alphabet, basically. This should be
Yeah.
A,
Chronologically, exactly,
D,
exactly. Chronologically, that's section D.
Yeah, so actually, let's not do it chronologically, so let's say that the phasing will be D, A, B, C.
Yes, which I think we
Yes,
had
that's what we're all
already agreed
intending,
on
I-
that.
Yeah, and we had already agreed on that, but now what I wanna know is, do we, at our next meeting, would it be profitable if we had these accurate plats that you talk about, Charlie, for, the area that is B?
Jeff's gonna have to, have those for the purpose of talking to Dollar General and and Dollar General, I'm sure, had a survey when they.
Yeah,
booked on that
that's
land.
known, for
So,
sure.
and the survey is probably recorded. So you got the village plats, you've got the Dollar General side, survey supposedly. So in order for him to approach and get an answer from Act 250, if not initiate an Act 250, he's gonna have to have all that in the queue.
What did you say, the DG surveys, is that what you said?
Dollar General survey
Yeah, okay.
and the village, plot maps or property maps. Those were, 20 years ago, those were pretty accurate and they haven't changed. The reason that they are accurate is because they don't change a lot. If
Yeah.
they are, there's a survey probably registered with the town. So he's gonna need that to open up the dialogue with Dollar General.
And I think we'd like to see it on our next meeting. We'd like to see both of those things.
It'd be very.
What about you,
informational.
Charlie? What do you think?
I think we need to let Jeff run with this and get the answers to Act 250. That's what I
Yeah.
think. He needs to run with it. He needs to get this Act 250 initiated. He
Yeah.
needs, so Act 250 can take forever. Somebody, a budding property owner can throw a wrench in there and stop the whole discussion. So we end up with equipment leaving without getting done what we think needs to be done. So we
On
need
D,
to
on
get Jeff
D.
to prioritize Act 250 over the next, before the end of the calendar year, so we have an answer.
All right. Charlie, would you go to Jeff and talk to him about this? I'm gonna go
Realize
to
that I'll
the,
probably get thrown in jail for assault, right?
well, that's why I'm asking you.
Thanks.
I
Does
might
it?
agree with Charlie that someone else might be more effective, because Charlie's been talking to Jeff about Act 250 since this subcommittee was created in April. So we planned for a public outing of this project on Night on the Common, September 17th.
Yeah, we did.
Thinking we would have all of this in place by then, so I think maybe someone else should.
Would you like to do it?
No,
I
the
don't know
only
that
way
I'd be much
you're
more
just gonna
effective.
have to get Dave to put it on
Other
the
than-
agenda, and we're gonna have to make a motion, and and he's gonna have to follow through with it. It's gotta be the select board that takes our manager and gives him a direct order to get it happening.
Okay,
That makes sense.
That does make sense.
okay, get Dave to put it on the agenda. Okay. I can talk to Dave about that.
And he can always, if he's too busy, he can always hire a consultant to go through the process. Bada bing, bada bang.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and isn't Jeff McMahon has already been very helpful so far. He was, I mean, I've name dropped him through all of our invitations back to the select board for this, so
But that's kind of his function.
he's already aware of this, he's the one who told us what we need, and I believe we provided his contact information, so he's a direct contact for that.
We just
And
gotta get the manager to do it.
That's right. Okay, so put Act 250 for Phase D on the agenda.
I'll talk to Jeff, I'll probably see him tomorrow, but, if not, let's see, we've got a 6 o'clock tomorrow, don't we?
What's tomorrow?
Is it tomorrow or is it next week?
Next,
1st of October, we got the, abatement hearing,
Oh, the abatement hearing, I forgot about that.
and Jeff is supposed to be at that, I think. So, well, Barry, are you gonna go to that?
yeah,
So why don't you ask him? I've got farmer's market. I'm not gonna get out of there till late.
ask Jeff or ask Dave. I thought we were gonna get Dave to do it,
Ask
to
Jeff
put
where he
it on
is
the
on
agenda.
that, and then have, Dave follow up with it as a discussion item on the select board. That we
Okay.
get, I don't even think it's on our tickler, is it?
No,
Right, so we don't know where he is with this, because he's not writing anything down on the tickler.
he didn't write it, never mind. So on 10-1, I'm gonna ask Jeff where he is on the Act 250.
Go to somebody else's houses for Thanksgiving. Yeah, it's like.
Okay, and then never mind what he says, I'm still gonna ask Dave to put it on the agenda.
Thanks, Meredith.
Yes,
Thanks, Charlie.
Yeah, thanks,
Sounds like a
Charlie.
good plan.
Yeah, what about integrating with the new pedestrian walkway and the waterfront park development? Do we have to take care of anything there?
I don't think so. I mean,
Do
we
we know
don't,
who that group is? Like, who's the group that got that, secured that grant, and is moving forward with that?
yeah,
Well, I know it's Lydia and Bonnie.
yeah. Do they have a name for the group or anything? This is how we were just curious
I
about.
don't know, is it
Is that-
Vorek?
Is that the
Is it-
road
I
it's
believe
not
separator
it's-
thing?
I don't think it's Vorek.
It's not, okay.
I don't think so. 'Cause
Vorek is doing the
The trails,
trails thing,
the trails.
that grant is
Charlie,
for
do you
that.
know?
What?
Who's in charge of the pedestrian walkway path
To Dog River Park.
that we discussed?
Lydia would be the resources if I had any questions about that I would go to, but supposedly it's our manager.
Oh,
Cause Tom, he just announced us the grant awardee, but I don't know who filled out the application.
it was
It
the
was
town,
Lydia and Bonnie.
but it's the town that made the application.
Yeah,
It's a town project, yeah. Town
On our
project.
most recent tickler list, there's nothing about Act 250 on the Cross Brothers Dam project.
no. Okay, so that's why it's not even on his radar screen. Okay. And anything else on this list, on this agenda that we need to discuss?
We have a date of next meeting already, I see,
Yeah,
that's good.
because I kinda let Ken bully me into picking a day for our group to always meet. And he said, this is the only day that's open, and I said, fine, we'll take it. I think it's the third
It's-
Wednesday or
It's-
something
yeah,
in October.
16th.
Yeah,
Are you gonna still?
yeah, well, that's what I was just gonna
Yeah,
say.
right.
I'm not gonna be here.
I won't be
So-
there.
And you won't be there. But I can share everything with Tim. And, I don't know, when you get here, one of yous can take care of it. One of you can be in the meeting. We don't have it's very I
Can
don't,
we have the meeting without the two select board members?
Yeah. That's a good question, Mary,
I could tune in on this meeting on the 16th.
if you think so, okay.
I could. I could tune in
I
on
think
that
it would
one.
be good, I think Mary's raised a good point, that if it's a town select board subcommittee, then,
The select boards need to be there?
and
Well, 'cause
besides,
we have to-
otherwise we'll task you with everything if you're not there, so.
Well, I'm already gonna do some things, so,
That's
yeah.
good.
Would
Could
it
Lydia
be
step in?
mandatory that Jeff
I don't think she
is here?
Yeah, and we gotta get Jeff then,
openly against this project.
plus
Okay.
Jeff.
She's against it?
She's gonna vote against it.
Is there a reason for that, or? Is that,
We have to ask. her.
All right, I'm gonna bail out. I gotta go. So, if a motion to adjourn is appropriate right now, I make it. If not, someone else can make it.
You can make it.
But real quick,
Moved.
Charlie, for the record, I'll show Dan Anderson is also on participating online. He joined,
Oh,
he
he
joined
did,
slightly after we did the roll call. I just wanted to point that out.
oh, I did not know that. Hi, Dan, I'm glad you're there.
Go ahead, Charlie, sorry.
I've made my motion. It needs to be seconded.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn the meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the meeting is adjourned
think
at
we should all-
exactly
All in
six
favor, say
fifty-three.
aye.
Yeah.
And then I just go like that, 6:53, and this meeting's over.
Okay,
great work, Mary.
Good job.
yes.
Thank you, Mary.
Is
Well-
it actually off? Is our recorder off?
Yeah, why, you gonna swear or
I
something?
just wanted to
I
make
was
sure.
swearing recently. I was swearing
The
and
note that was
Tom had,
left there said just to close the,
Okay.
Tom had to remind me, Mary, stop. The computer's recording. I'll edit you out, he said.
Patrick, thanks for coming, and we hope
Yeah.
we'll see you at
Thank
future
you for
meetings,
going to
'cause
that
So
critical
You've got
meeting.
your
I
finger in
didn't know
a
it was
So
that
glad
very
you
important.
are.
I'm glad I went.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm
thank
scared
you,
to
thank
miss
you.
one of these, or you guys will make me do everything, so.
You see that there's method to our madness. This is-
My dad got elected president of the Lions Club in New York once, cause he missed the meeting, so
Oh,
they
yes,
voted him.
this is an organizational tradition that many organizations have used.
If you don't come once, don't come again.
It's on the same theory that, the loggers would, say that whoever complains the most about the food becomes the cook.
Yeah.
Are you
Exactly.
part of another group in town too?
I'm part of the energy committee too.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Great,
nice. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for the
making
images
these
you
cross
did.
connections.
I,
Yeah, you're welcome.
being like with a couple other groups at the Night on the Common, I want more time to look at the images that you produced. That
I
was
can
my first
email
time
them
seeing them,
I
so.
have a PDF I can
You do?
email
Okay, that
them to
would be
you guys.
fantastic.
Oh,
Thank you.
I had my mom
maybe you
Go
could do them
take
to.
Take pictures.
To
Smart. I should've done
NCDNVT
that.
at Gmail.
NCDN, okay.
Yeah,
That way I can look at it.
NCDNVT, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
at
okay,
Gmail.
yeah.
Did you,
Thank you.
did you see that panicky?
From Bill, I responded, yeah. I had largely written that email 5 days ago and I didn't finish it and press send, so I did that today.
I have a feeling,
Don't you hate when you find an email that you didn't
Yes.
press send?
Yes,
And it's,
and it's like all the substance was there and yeah.
You